Guys, welcome to another Serial Killer Files reaction, another serial killer video for you guys, because you guys have been really enjoying the serial killer stuff. The Giggling Nanny. I don't know nothing about this. The title itself is kind of eerie, Giggling Nanny. But again, if you like this type of content, you want us to continue to do the serial killer stuff, all this great stuff, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel, share the content. It really means a lot. If you guys want to go even farther to make sure content like this keeps coming out, go to the link below, check out our Patreon page, get exclusive access to early access content and exclusive content. So let's go ahead and jump into this. Okay.
On the outside, Nanny Doss appeared to be a very kind-hearted neighbor, wife, and mother, but on the inside lurked something else entirely. This week, we discuss the Giggling Nanny. Let's open the serial killer file.
Okay, Rob. And I appreciate you guys watching these videos along with me, learning and taking away from the world's worst people. Her name was actually Nanny. Wow. Okay.
Nancy Hazel was born on November 4th,
Nancy.
1905 to an underprivileged family in Alabama. Brought up with one brother and three sisters, Nanny and her siblings lacked a proper education. With an over-controlling father, all the children were forced to work long hours on the family farm and were forbidden to engage in healthy social lives. Nanny experienced an accident at the age of 7 when she hit her head against a metal bar while riding a train with her family. She would later blame the accident for her depression, severe headaches, and daily blackouts while growing up. Nanny grew up to resent her father. As a teenager, Nanny and her sisters were restricted from ever wearing makeup and clothing that remote.
By the way, I've learned that head trauma can actually cause a lot of serious psychological things with your mind. So, like, I don't know, maybe that really did have an effect on her. We'll continue to watch the video and learn, but yeah, head trauma. Be careful. Head injuries are not meant to be taken lightly.
Made them appear attractive in order to limit the girls' interaction with boys. Nanny was 16 years old when she married her first husband, Charlie Braggs, a man that worked at the same factory as her. The two had dated 4 short months before tying the knot under the approval of her father. The newlywed couple never got to experience a honeymoon phase in their marriage, however. Charlie had no family and was raised by a mother who never married either. Because Charlie was all his mother had, he insisted that his mother lived with them. Living in a controlled environment, Nanny was subjected to her mother-in-law's rules and went on to give birth to 4 daughters between 1923 and 1927. Young and living in an unhappy marriage, Nanny began taking up heavy drinking and smoking in order to get through her days. It wasn't long before the marriage hit its lowest point. Raising 4 children, Nanny rarely saw Charlie after he began cheating on her. Things only got worse when in early 1927, 2 of their daughters unexpectedly died from suspected food poisoning. The grieving process seemed to be cut short when Nanny received her daughter's life insurance money. Charlie accused Nanny of poisoning the girls and fled with their firstborn daughter, leaving behind their newborn in Nanny's care.
That's
After
so
the death of her mother-in-law,
messed
the couple
up.
divorced in 1928. Nanny took custody over the remaining 2 daughters after Charlie stated that he feared his wife and refused to eat her food whenever she was in a sour mood.
Oh, God.
Back on a failed marriage and with 2 children to support, Nanny turned to romance novels and began to seek out a new partner. After the divorce, Nanny moved to Anniston, Alabama with her kids. Continuing to write for the magazine, Nanny caught the eye of 23-year-old Robert Frank Harrelson. The two began exchanging romantic poetry and gifts to each other until marrying in 1929. High hopes for a new start at raising a family didn't last very long when Nanny moved the girls to Jacksonville, only to discover that her new husband was an alcoholic with a history of criminal assault charges. Despite his past records, the couple were together for 16 years, much longer than her previous
Holy
marriage.
smokes.
In 1943, Nanny's oldest daughter, Melvina, gave birth to her first son, Robert Lee Haynes, and a second child in 1947. Exhausted from her
It's crazy to me that she can sit there with this person, her daughter, smiling, knowing in the back of her mind she poisoned 2 of her other daughter, 2 of her previous husband's daughters. I can't fathom. I can't believe that. To me, that's just the worst. Sickening.
Long hours in labor, Melvina thought she was delusional when she witnessed her mother sticking a hat pin into the head of her newborn and killing the child. Doctors apologized and were unable to confirm the cause of death, believing it could have possibly been birth complications. A few months later, Nannie was taking care of her infant grandson
It's
when he
horrible.
unexpectedly died of asphyxiation.
What?
The sudden death of the child left the family in a state of shock and grief, while Nannie went on to collect $500 of life insurance that she had taken out on Robert just 2 months prior.
I hate this
After a drunken
woman.
night at a local bar in 1945, Frank returned home demanding sex from his wife, who declined. Frank became violent and Nannie finally submitted. Nannie insisted that Frank raped her that night, which was the last straw for her. Distraught and angry, Nannie sought revenge the next day by discreetly placing rat poison into Frank's liquor jar, ultimately watching her husband die a slow and painful death that same evening. Nannie was content with killing off as many loved ones as she could and would continue to collect money from their deaths. It didn't take very long for Nannie to move on. Once again, she was able to easily find another suitable man named Arlie Lanning through magazine dating columns while moving to Lexington, North Carolina. After 3 days, the couple married. However, this was no longer a motive to find happiness for Nannie. Just like her previous husbands, Arlie was known to be a cheater and alcoholic who took advantage of women. For undisclosed periods of time, Nannie would sneak out of town and return in an optimistic state, tending to her household duties while her husband sought love from other women. It was during her third marriage when she came to the harsh realization that she would never be able to find the perfect man suitable for someone like herself.
She doesn't
In
deserve the perfect
1950,
man.
Arlie
She deserves to
suddenly died
be...
of heart failure after experiencing flu-like symptoms. Doctors believed his death had been attributed to his heavy drinking, taking Nannie off of everyone's radar. The morning after Arlie's death, his property was burned to the ground. Nannie knew that Arlie's sister would collect the property after his death and did everything she could to stop that from ever happening. Just before
And burned it
leaving
down.
town, Nannie went on to visit her mother-in-law, who had also unexpectedly died in her sleep that same evening. In 1952,
Oh,
Nannie
wow.
was now
Oh,
a
my God.
47-year-old woman and aging fast. Realizing she was losing her look, she began searching for older men through a dating agency called the Diamond Circle Club. It was from there she was able to find her fourth husband, Richard L. Morton. Realizing that he was yet another womanizer, Nannie began plotting her kill until her plans were put to a sudden stop when her elderly mother decided to move in. Unable to kill without getting caught, she took extra precautions, but eventually had no choice but to poison her own mother.
Oh,
3
what a
months following her
bitch.
mother's death, Richard was killed just before Nannie made her final stop to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Desperate for money, Nannie
This woman
loved
is
the thrill
retarded.
of the kill. However, that thrill soon caught up with her. In June of 1953, Nannie met and married Samuel Doss, a conservative and religious man that highly disapproved of Nannie's romance novels. A few months into the marriage, Samuel was diagnosed by doctors with a severe digestive tract infection after eating Nannie's food. In desperation to collect the 2 life insurance policies she had taken out on him, Nannie had poisoned Samuel, and he died as a result. Samuel's sudden death made doctors suspicious. In October of 1954, Nannie was apprehended for the murder of her husband after an autopsy concluded that
Look at her
Samuel
smiling,
had ingested
Nancy's-
an alarming amount of arsenic. On May 17, 1955, Nannie pled guilty for the 11 murders she committed from the 1920s to 1954.
Wow, I gotta wait that
She confessed
long.
to all of her murders
That
in
long.
a delighted manner, appearing to have no remorse for the murders of her infant grandson, her mother, 4 husbands, and previous mother-in-laws. The state did not pursue the death penalty and sentenced Nannie to life in prison, and she went there, giggling. Nannie Doss died of leukemia in the hospital ward of the Oklahoma State Penitentiary on June 2nd, 1965,
Good,
at the age
good.
of 59. That's all in this file. Thank you
Good.
for watching. If you'd like to learn more
What a
about
bitch.
serial killers or other
Oh my God. What a bitch. Okay. The kid stuff, man, really gets to me when I hear about kids who, these kids trusted these adults and poisoned their food. I can't fathom. My mind has a hard time fathoming people who murder children, people who R-word children, who do all this crazy stuff to children. Children are so innocent. Children are so innocent. And, yeah. Life in prison. She got off pretty lucky. I mean, she had to suffer in prison for a long time, but who cares? I mean, I would have. That's a good example of someone who needs the electric chair. You want to laugh going to life in prison? All right, there you go. Fucking ridiculous, man. It's people like that who annoy me. Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. Sorry that I'm getting a little. Yeah. Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. Share the content. Really appreciate it. And we will do more of these serial killer files. I do get angry at some of them. I do get annoyed by some of them. But that is just part of me learning about them. So until next time, guys, keep it retro, and I'll check you guys out in the next video. Take care. Holy shit, Michael. We made it to We Slaughtered Barbecue. The epitome and the purpose of our trip is to make it to this area.
Oh yes. Food and cattle.
Yep. I just noticed, is that a cemetery way over there, or are those cattle?
No, I think that is a small cemetery.
Holy shit, that's kind of cool and creepy. That thing is massive, but there's not just that one. There are spiders literally
There's
everywhere.
one there. There's one there. There's one over there. And then there's this one here.
Dude, they're everywhere on the
they're all
property.
huge.
It's
Oh,
cool.
there's one there.